Firstly, thank you for joining me in this third and final video in this series where the topic has been about, putting together presentations and pitches and proposals where the intent is to get people to buy into some idea you have. In this third and final one, I want to talk specifically to the context where you might be tendering for some sort of contract, or you've been asked to come in and talk to the customer and go away, put together a proposal to solve some problem that they have. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they go into these things thinking technically. The reason you might have been asked by the customer to come in and talk to them and come up with a proposal is because you technically know what you're talking about. You've got some sort of skill set that they recognize, and it's important to solving their problem. But the problem is people go into it with a technician mindset, and they think that if I come up with a great or a perfect technical solution, it's going to sell itself. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. So in this video that I recorded a while back, in it we talk about more than just the technician's view of how you think about putting together proposals and how you think about going and having those conversations with customers. And I'm sure you're going to find this interesting. I'm sure you're going to find it useful, particularly in these situations where you have to put together a proposal for a customer. So enjoy the video. Ultimately, we want to deliver a pitch that gives us a smiley face. We want to deliver a pitch where we get the buy-in from the customer. And if we come right back here, what I'm talking about is the situation where, leading into this, you get the chance to sit with your customer, right, and have an interview or some sort of interaction where you can elicit information. Now, what type of information do you take from this? Now, if you look below, below this video down there is a downloadable form that is going to take this information that I'm going to deliver visually to you and give you more detailed, from a checklist perspective, more detailed information that you can take this and actually physically use it. So I'm going to draw the pieces in the middle, right, which relate to that particular form. When you do this, when you have this interview, there are two perspectives we can take. There is the technician's perspective, and then the influencer's perspective. Right, and people are pretty good at the technician side of it, and that is where you assemble information that relates from a technical perspective to the pitch that you're delivering. Now, if we break this down, and this is what you'll see in that form, there are 4 parts to this. When we interview them, we want to know what the problem is. This is the thing that is causing them concern. It's the thing that we need to solve. And we need to dig into that because it's often the case where someone comes to you and asks for something and they're talking about the action or the product or the service, but they don't necessarily articulate the problem that you need to solve. The second thing you're going to do is focus on potential barriers. Barriers or challenges that prevent them from solving that problem, and that might even prevent you from solving that problem. Okay, so the barriers or challenges could be human, they could be physical things, but they're things, roadblocks that get in the way and stop you from solving that problem. The third thing we ask about is the motivation for solving that problem. Yeah, and this alludes to the hook or the reason why they would be interested in your solution ultimately, which is going to solve that problem. Fourth thing, the outcome. The end result. What is it you want to produce? So if I do a particular action, I deliver a product or service, what do you want to get at the end? And the reason this is really important is for a couple of reasons. Number one, customers aren't very good at articulating outcomes. They're very good at articulating the product or service or the action that they want. But we want to give them the outcome they want through our product or service. Now, ultimately, we also want to solve the problem, deliver the outcome, because if we can do those things, then we're more likely to get buy-in to the thing that we're offering. Now, this outcome piece, I always remember way back, many years ago, I wanted to buy a Tag Heuer watch. It was one of my, bucket list items. So I went into a jewelry store that sold Tag Heuer watches, and I asked the sales lady, I said, listen, I'd like to look at some Tag Heuer watches. And she said, what image would you like to present before I show you anything? I thought, what an incredible question from a sales perspective, because what she was focusing on is the outcome that I wanted And then she showed me watches that produced or delivered that outcome. And I walked out of that place with a Tag Heuer watch. And I'm just reinforcing the point here that if you can connect strongly with the outcome that they want, you're more likely to get buy-in to your idea. So that part of it forms the technical aspects and the majority of the pitch itself. But the influencers also take notice of other things. First of all, information that relates to how they build rapport with the customer. That would be things like things that would cause us to have things in common. It would be how they dress. Are they a tradesperson, or are they a professional, or are they a blue-collar worker? It could be even the language they use, the way that they talk. Are they fast, high-pitched, or are they slow, deep, and resonating? Anything that helps you build rapport on the basis of having things in common. You don't want to be in violation of those things or being so different that you're out of rapport, because then you've got a problem. Very hard to sell something to someone if they don't like you. The second thing we're taking notice of is anything that helps you build connection. And connection, by connection I mean when I deliver information, the information resonates specifically with the potential customer, and that's going to be things like specific words they use, stories, metaphors that they tend to bias towards or utilize themselves. It could be anything associated with the technical aspects of delivering something that you can utilize back at them, which helps them understand what it is you're presenting. It could be visual symbols as well, or diagrams that they draw. Now, the third thing that we look at we focus on is a set of questions around the rules that they want you to abide by. If you don't ask questions about the rules, what happens is you raise the likelihood that you violate the rules that they want you to live by. And anyone who's ever been in a relationship knows it's very easy to get upset with other people, or other people to get upset with you. When you do something and you can't work out why, that's because the rules have been violated, the unwritten rules that are in their head. So I once heard it said that all upsets are rules upsets. So what we're doing here is trying to understand the rules that they want you to abide by. And that's going to be, when do you want this presentation or proposal? What's the best format for it? Is it in writing, or is it in video form, or is it in presentation? If it's in written form, is it bullet point, or is it details, or is it executive summary at the front, etc. So you understand the rules of how they want you to deliver this. When you have that forms the way that you deliver and some of the content. Look, assemble that information together, you got a pretty powerful pitch, right? You're more likely to get buy-in to that, your solution, your product or service that solves a problem, delivers outcomes that they want, connects with the things that they value, their reason for actually, making change and solving those problems and getting those outcomes. But on top of it, you'll be able to build rapport, connect with them in the way that you deliver it, and do it according to the rules that they live by. Well, there you go. That's the last piece of information I had for you around this series of videos. And I just want to reinforce the point that was made in this video. Don't go into this with just the technician's view. The technical aspects of your solution may not actually sell it. So you need to have more than that. You need to look through this through the eyes of an influencer. And I'm sure if you do that, you're going to be way more successful in proposals in the future. So I hope I've added value in that regard. If you want more information about this topic, don't forget to go to the website, 9skillsfactory.com/course of the month. And I'd love to have you have a look at the content there, and I'm sure you're going to find something interesting. And other than that, I will see you in another video sometime very soon. Bye.